In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. I'm sorry, you were nervous just a moment ago, and then she started getting into character real quick. She was like,
there you go.
I just saw her at the side of my fucking eye. She was like, I'm getting character real quick.
I was ready. Hi. Stop laughing at me, David.
We have Omono. You're just so nervous. I feel your fucking nervous energy right now.
It's gone.
So, if you guys watched my film, Goop, this is one of my cast members. Did an excellent job on the film, by the way.
Thanks.
You know the scene where you and Curtis are with Simone? Mm-hmm. And you guys are, I wasn't there that day. I was sleeping because I was like my one day off. But you guys, you guys were fucking, it was a scene where you guys were arguing and fighting.
That was my first day.
That was your first day? Mm-hmm. Dude, that shit was
my first day.
Intense. And I didn't get to see that, but I saw it in the editing room afterwards on the next day. And that shit made me cry. Yeah. I was like, that shit was emotional as hell.
It was a lot. And that day was stressful.
Really?
Rephrase. Stressful. Seriously, because, okay, it was, this is going to sound so unprofessional. I probably shouldn't even say it. But there was back and forths with my start date. And so I didn't realize that day was my start date.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I showed up late, first of all. And then it was, where did we shoot? It was like,
we shot in Compton. That was in Compton.
It was far. Yeah. Anyways, it was far. So I hit traffic. I got pulled over when I was driving there because like I almost ran a red, and this cop saw me like on the verge of tears because I was like stressed out. I was like, I'm already late. I don't know anybody. I look a mess. I was about to cry. He's like, just go. I was like, thank you.
That's why the scene was so fucking good though, is because you were stressed the fuck out.
So stressed, but it worked out.
When did you get to read those lines before you got the part?
Maybe 3 weeks before.
So it wasn't much time. Like you didn't get to really sit with it that long, right? No,
because I think, I don't know, in terms of casting, I had to be one of the last people because it was, I know this Simone, I mean, you guys have been rehearsing for a bit, but it was late. It's because of this guy I got it.
So Khalif was the one that
Yes.
Oh,
don't shake your head. Yeah. No, yeah, because Khalif is one who put me in touch with Justin.
That's wild.
And then, yeah.
It's kind of crazy how that film kind of came together. Like everybody was just, it was like picking up the pieces for the parts for the film just happened to work out really, really fucking well. I mean, obviously, like there was a huge auditioning process, but I think like when people filled the role correctly, it was just like that's it. Like
we don't together.
Yeah, we don't really have to think twice about it. There was another dude, he was a dancer, from my area, and you know his role was very simple, but he killed it too. He was the guy that was like the quote unquote studio producer, and he was. It's funny when I look back at the film too. Like watching the film versus being in it was so different, you know. So like when I was watching, I was like, oh, that's right, I did shoot that part. Like, you know,
and you had a lot to do, so
man, I
mean, at that point, probably blacking out scenes are just like I'm exhausted.
Man, we had some fucking stressful ass fucking days though, because I wish they would have recorded some of the behind the scenes because Justin and I got into so many fucking fights on set. It was unreal. Like it was just stressful as fuck.
What?
Just about everything, man. It was because, I mean, number one, it was already a stressful situation. And mind you, this was as micro budget got. You already knew. The house that you shot in was so fucking disgusting.
And they lived there.
Yeah, there was people who actually lived in that house. There. It was crazy.
I was like, this is not art department.
I know. They're like, who did the set design? It's amazing. This place looks like trash. I was like, there's actually human beings that live here, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But there was this one time where I think like we were shooting for so long and we were so stressed out. It was the scene where Justin and I were in in the car. So he was directing the scene, but it was me and Justin's dad. So Justin's dad and I were kind of going back and forth on these lines, and Justin was so frustrated at me. I think it was because I was tired, and we shot the scene before where we were on the roof screaming. So my voice was kind of out. So Justin was directing the scene, and he goes, "Hey man, like you sound a little tired. Like
perk up
a little bit." And I'm like, already him saying that made me pissed because I was tired. I hadn't slept in like 2 days.
Motherfucker, I'm exhausted.
So I'm fucking exhausted. And he goes, hey, He goes, "You're acting the lines too much. Be a little more natural." And I'm like, "Dog, I'm gonna fucking kill you."
In front of his dad.
I'm like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you, man. Like, I'm fucking exhausted. Like, I'm literally gonna kill this guy." And he goes, and as we're shooting, like, he just cuts. He goes, "Yo, you're overacting right now." And I'm like, "What the fuck do you want?" Like, I'm fucking exhausted. I was like, "I've been away for 2 days just like you." So like, I'm literally screaming at this fool at the top of my fucking lungs. And then he's yelling at me back, and we just kind of chill out a little bit. We shoot the scene, and we're just standing next to each other in like the most guy way possible. He just looks over me, goes, "My bad." I'm like, "Yeah, we good, dude." We just gotta move on from it because it was so fucking tiring being on that film.
You killed it though, seriously.
It was such a blur. We don't even know if we killed it or not because I read the script so many times. I didn't really.
You're too close to it.
Yeah, too close to it. So you don't really know if it's a good performance or not.
You know something? I don't know if you're like this, but anytime I get good feedback from people, I don't believe it.
Really?
I do not believe it because this is why I think I'm a really rational person, and I feel like it's people's instinct to be like, "Oh my God, you were so amazing." So I'm like, I don't trust you.
Do you do that to people though? And when let me ask you something. Exactly. So let me ask you something, right? Let's say I'm like one of your friends, right? I am your friend, but let's say I'm one of your actor friends. I show you something that you really hate, that you don't think is good at all, right? But this person put their heart and soul into it. So I'm gonna be that, and I want you to act it out right now.
You're my friend. Like we're close.
We've been friends for years.
Damn. Okay. Let's do it.
All right. You just got done watching this shit.
Okay.
Omono, what did you think about it?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen you do better.
Fuck you, bitch.
Wow. Okay. I tried. I really tried. No,
there it is.
If I'm close to you, I'll tell you the truth. It sounds terrible, right?
That's good though. Most people won't because I don't even think I can do that.
If the people you're close to, you don't trust, really?
That's kind of hard. Like,
you don't trust Khalif?
What? I mean, I trust them, but it's like if somebody put their heart and soul into it, it's hard to watch. Like, it's hard to watch him just crash and burn right in front of your face. You know?
Yeah.
Because I have seen stuff that my friends have showed me and I didn't really like it, but I was just I just said the positive things that I enjoyed about it.
Do you say it could be better? Not it could be better, or I've seen better, or you could definitely grow. Do you add something like that into it or no?
I wonder because I don't know if people genuinely
want to,
exactly.
Right?
They ask for critique, but I don't think they actually want it, right?
You.
And
especially actors, we're so sensitive.
For sure. I'm like that too, though.
I am too.
I'm like that too.
But I'm skeptical of everybody. I literally don't believe it. I asked my sister, but she's not an actor, so I trust that she'll be honest, but I'm like,
But see, when you ask people who aren't in your craft and they give you an opinion about stuff, sometimes I'm like, what the fuck do you know?
Right? Why am I asking you?
Like, the fuck do you know, bitch?
I feel you.
Like, you don't know shit. Like, but if it's somebody that it's weird because if it's somebody that I lightweight respect, I don't think I want to hear too much shit from it. But if somebody I highly respect, I want to hear all
everything.
The critiques.
I feel you.
Right? Because I think it's a balance of like, what is your position in life to have such a staunch opinion about this piece? Because if I gave, let's say, if I had a film and then I showed, I don't know, like Scorsese, some shit. Actually, probably not even Scorsese. Like, I don't know, like Bong Joon-ho, right? He did Parasite. And he gave me a list of stuff that I should correct. I would take that shit to heart. I would say thank you and I would fix all that stuff.
Yeah.
But if it was, I don't know, let's say my brother, right? I go, yo, what do you think is bad about this film? And he gave me his critiques. I'll be like, thanks. And then I'll go behind his back and talk a lot of shit about him. I'm like, fuck you, dude.
Talk a lot of shit on a podcast.
Yeah, I was like, fuck you, guy. What the fuck do you know, Mr. Nurse? All right, it's not about science, bitch. How about that? You're a nurse. You're about to be a nurse.
There we go. About to be. I'm in nursing school.
So what just because we talked about this, what's this whole thing from acting to nursing? What
I know it sounds like.
Yeah.
So literally since I graduated college, my first degree, which has proven very useless, I have been taking prereq classes for nursing school. So it's always been something, even before I jumped into acting full time, like I've always been like doing it on the side, doing a class. Oh my gosh, when we went to Sundance, I was taking an online class and I stayed up.
Really?
Yes, I stayed up. I remember our first night, I had to, I don't know, either write a paper or something. I stayed up till like 3 a.m. in my room in that cabin, finishing up my paper. And then the next day we went and did press and everything.
How the hell did you do that?
I have no fucking idea.
I was exhausted.
I'm still exhausted. What do you mean you don't do shit? You do so much. Are you joking?
That's crazy that you... Yeah, but when you were at Sundance, I can't believe you wrote a paper.
Yeah, like I remember doing it in the airport. So I've always been doing
exhausting. Like my feet hurt.
Oh my God, I was so mad at myself that day. So the morning of all the press was the day of the Women's March. And I remember I woke up early and I was like, I'm going to go out, Women's March. I'll come back, get ready. And we're out and they're like, we're doing press. And I was like, fuck, I look like shit, but we're doing this.
Did you do the Women's March that morning?
Yeah.
That's great. I know Eunice did the Women's March. She was so upset at me that I didn't do it, but I was like, it was a blizzard in the morning. Are you insane?
But the energy, and there's so many people, when there's so many people, you all suffer together. It's like, it's not so bad.
Unless that energy was a heat dish, I was not coming out. Are you insane? It was, when I say a blizzard, I'm not exaggerating. It wasn't.
You are exaggerating.
No, it was an actual blizzard that day.
David.
At nighttime. Remember nighttime?
But this was the morning.
So the blizzard happened and there was snow everywhere. It was cold as fuck.
It wasn't that
I
bad.
think you were just hyped up about just like the whole emotional aspect of it because it was cold as hell. We're from California, so.
But yeah, that's the thing. I remember that was my first time seeing actual snow falling. That's so beautiful.
You never saw
No,
snow?
I've been to Big Bear, which is like it's man-made snow. It's fake snow.
Well, not now. It's snowing over there right now.
Well, when I went to Big Bear.
Yeah.
So I hadn't actually seen snow falling from the sky. So it was so magical to me.
That's crazy. I hate the snow. Like I enjoy the snow for what it is. Like it's fun, but then like I'm not gonna wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Maybe that's what it was. It was all the my childhood dreams.
See, it's definitely all that type of shit too. You know, I had a funny ass conversation with somebody recently about just because we're talking about hype. So when Black Panther first dropped, I remember how much everybody enjoyed it, right? So Black Panther is on the Disney Plus channel,
yeah.
right? So
Disney Plus channel.
Disney Plus channel. I found old as fuck.
Hey, this is Lizzie McGuire. You're watching Disney Plus
The
channel.
Disney Plus channel. I'm gonna just do the fucking outline thing. But I saw Black Panther again recently. Yeah. I didn't like it as much as the first time.
Really?
I didn't like it as much.
Why? What? Let me not jump down your throat. Why?
It's not that the film wasn't good. It just wasn't as good as I remembered.
You think it was the hype?
I think it was the hype that got me because it was just as good as like I think as an average like Marvel film. But there wasn't anything that made it like stand out. Like in terms of like, was it the acting? Was it the way that it was filmed or shot? There wasn't anything that really stuck out to me where I was like, oh, this. Because I remember watching it being like, that was the best Marvel film I've ever seen in my life.
I saw Black Panther 4 times in theaters. I don't know what other movie I've seen 4 times in theaters.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think also too, I mean, I watched that twice in theaters too, and I enjoyed it both times. And then when I went to watch it again, I'm like, did I get caught up in the hype? Because I clearly remember me enjoying that film way more than I did the third time. But usually when I really like a film, no matter how many times I watch it, I enjoy it. Because like just the other day, I watched Step Brothers, and I thought that shit was fucking hilarious.
I've never finished that movie.
What?
I know. I'd watch it on TV and then change the channel and then come back and then I missed a bunch and then, yeah.
You never liked, but did you like it though?
I liked it. I just never finished it.
How could you not finish it? It's so fucking funny.
I changed the channel and then,
why would you change the fucking channel?
Because they go on breaks. This is when I lived at home and I had cable. You didn't, they show it like
well, it's on Netflix now, so you can watch that shit.
Maybe I'll watch it tonight. Yeah. But I'm sorry, Wakanda Forever. I haven't seen it recently, but no, I'm sorry.
How could you say that? You should hate the film.
I should hate. I don't know. You know what? I won't be petty, but
tell everybody about that experience because that shit was one of the most traumatizing things I've ever.
Yo, this is why acting is literally the most stressful job I've ever done in my life. I say it's the hardest job I've ever done in my life, ever, and I've had a lot of jobs. Yeah, it's.
You got to start
have
from
a blog
the
post about this, guys.
We read the blog post, but you got to tell people about your whole experience just because of how close. Actually,
I don't even know. At the end of the day, who knows how close I was, right? Maybe it wasn't even.
I don't know. I think you.
I don't know. Man, isn't it crazy just how different everybody's, like, one thing can change your life like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, here's the story. So it all started in my acting class. Our teacher told us to do a monologue, and I couldn't find anything I liked. So I wrote a dang monologue, and I wrote a monologue for the character Shuri. Like, I just made up my own monologue. And I was like, okay, did it in class, loved it, killed it. I was like, this is me, this role fits. Like, I love this girl. Performed it, it was great. 3 months later, I get an audition. And they didn't call it Black Panther, of course. I don't know what they called it. I was like, this sounds like Marvel. And then one of the characters was Tony. I was like, this is fucking Marvel.
Yeah.
And even the casting office. So I go in, I'm like, I put a lot of effort into it. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, the universe is playing chess with me. You know, I made a move and the universe is like, yeah, let's tango. So I have my audition. First audition, I'm like, you did a good job. They call me back. As soon as they did the callback, they already emailed my manager asking for my availability. They're like, is she available these dates? I was like, oh my God. Second audition, Goes well. They call me back again. Third one was with Kugler and another producer. I don't remember his name. And I remember waiting to go in the room and hearing them listen to tapes of other people. I was like, holy fucking shit. You're auditioning for Black Panther. You wrote a monologue for this. I was like, this is going to make the best story on Jimmy Kimmel. I'm like imagining what I'm going to wear to the freaking premiere. Obviously didn't happen because here I am. But
you're like the shitty fucking podcast. So clearly it didn't happen. I'm not a Jimmy Kimmel. I'm on fucking David So's podcast.
You know what?
Fuck this.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. But it was a good learning lesson though. I feel like it was good for me to be like, acting does not give a fuck about you. And not in a bad way, but just don't get caught up. And always be grounded in your own self and have your own shit in your own core before you let the flu of everything
because you
else.
actually because you technically booked it, right? Like that was like almost like this.
I guess so. I was like, I never got she's booked or she's pinned or whatever. No. It was just the amount of auditions and then
they went for a bigger name.
And you know what? At first I was salty. I was like, damn, I was really invested. That's my fault. Y'all didn't tell me to be invested. But then after watching it, she killed it. Letitia Wright, shout out. She fucking killed it. And I was like, how can I hate you?
Yeah, I wouldn't hate the person. I would just hate life in general. That's how I am, though. That's how I heal my wounds. I heal with salt. I just sprinkle a little salt in my wounds.
Alcohol too, or no?
That's just a little bit. I just kind of salt and a little bit of alcohol.
Lime,
just a little tequila in that wound.
there we go.
That's crazy though, because like that film did so well.
It did so well.
It did so fucking well. You could have been. You wouldn't be in nursing school right now.
I wouldn't be in nursing school right now, right?
Just thinking about it. You know what you did? You did what I did when that fucking that $1 billion lottery came out. You know when that huge lottery shit came out and everybody was buying lotto tickets? No. It was like a ridiculous amount. It might have been $500 million. It was like 500 million. I think like 2 people in Chino Hills won, right? But this is what I did. When that shit came out, me and my friends, we all pulled not a shit ton of money, like a few $100 together. We bought a bunch of lotto tickets, right?
Oh, wow.
I had already figured out what my life was before I even won, as if I was just going to win the lottery.
Oh, you already planned. You already made your budget.
I planned my whole life.
Look at you.
I planned my whole life. I was going to delete this fucking channel. I was going to delete this channel. I was going to put out a YouTube video that said, fuck everything. Fuck all this shit. Fuck all my subscribers. No, I'm kidding. No, but I am kidding. I'm completely kidding. I still would have continued YouTube. I just would have demonetized everything.
And you would have had more fun with it, right?
It would have just been the craziest fucking videos everybody would have seen.
Oh my God.
The most offensive shit. I would be dropping the N-word. No, I'm kidding. I'd be saying everything, dude. I'd be going back to Sacramento, David. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would be saying, they're like, what are you going to do? Take my money away, bitch? I don't think so. I'm a fucking half a billionaire. Suck my nuts.
After taxes?
Doesn't matter. I could live off a solid 30 million for the rest of my life.
Solid 30. That's good.
That's generational money right there.
I should play the lottery. I never play.
I mean, the chances of winning is next to none. A buddy of mine from Seattle, his mom owned a gas station / liquor store. Mm-hmm. His whole life, he said there are customers who come in that he's seen since he was a kid that have been doing the lotto for the past 30 years, and they still do it till this day, and they still haven't won.
It's probably just tradition at that point. You think they're really trying to win?
I guess, but that money, like if you're trying to win big money, you spend a hefty amount.
Really?
Yeah, it's a lot more expensive. I forget how much it is, but it's not like $1.
I thought I could just do $1. Yeah.
Nah, it's not.
Oh.
it racks up a little bit, but I really planned out my whole life, man. Like I imagine.
What would you do? Ooh, tell me your budget. You're $500,000, not $500,000.
First off, dude, I'm throwing away my kitchen because I ain't never cooking ever again. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm fucking people making me food. Number 2,
after being a judge, you don't want to.
Hold on a second. That's a different thing, though. I would hire a chef, and then we had conversations about food. Number 2, I would have an in-house masseuse giving me a massage every fucking day for the rest of my life.
Are you in pain or something?
No. I don't give a fuck. I have millions of dollars. So I have a masseuse. I'll have a bunch of dogs because I'm not going to clean up the poop.
You say dogs?
Dogs.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to clean up the poop.
So you're going to hire somebody to come?
Yep. Somebody else can clean up the poop. I'm definitely going to get a house for sure.
Ooh.
Other than that, I'll be traveling all the time. I won't be at home. I won't even be at home. Oh, I'll retire my parents too, by the way. My parents matter.
I forgot this is on.
Yeah, my parents, I'll retire them and shit. But I just I just would do the same thing that I'm doing now. I just wouldn't worry. You know what I'm saying? Because I do have this thing in the back of my mind that everything that I've earned up until this point will be taken away from me.
Why do you feel that way?
I think because I grew up so broke. Like that was the status quo. It was like being broke. So I think for me, because I grew up so poor, that's always in the back of my head that could always happen again. So it's like I never really spend money like that. I know a lot of people who have made a lot of money. I know they spent a lot of it and they don't have a lot now. Like I know people now who I see what they have. Like it's like, number one, I know how much you make because we're in the same business. I know what you do. I know for a fact that you shouldn't be walking around with a fucking LV backpack and all sort of shit and a rollie on your wrist. Because for a fact, you don't have that money in your bank account. Yeah. You know?
Okay, interesting. You're making me think of something. You said you have this fear of it being taken away, yeah? Mm-hmm. Do you feel like, are you afraid of that happening?
For sure. That's like a perpetual fear that I always live with because I don't know. I think it's because also the industry that I'm in, it's
so unstable.
Yeah, maybe it's not even the industry that's unstable. It's my feelings that are unstable about it, right? So if I was in it to win it, and it didn't really matter how long it was going to take, and I was kind of married to the fact that there's a high chance that I could be poor as long as I love doing this art, then yeah, I don't think it would bother me as much. But the thing that really bothers me on the back of my mind is the fact that my parents are still working. You know, that I'm going to get married, I might have a kid, and all this stuff bothers me. And I think when it comes to creativity, when you have these responsibilities, it does kind of like take away from it. Some people say it's my motivation, right? It's like, it's my motivation. If I have a kid, I have all these responsibilities. It makes me want to work harder so they don't have to worry. For me, it's the opposite. It's like, I also want to be a family guy. So it's like, you know, if I'm an actor, I'm always on call and I'm away. How can I be a really great father? I don't give a fuck what anybody else says. It's like, if you know, they're like, I'm an actor, I'm around for my kids. Like, are you really though? Like, you're not as available as other people are.
You take them with you.
I guess, but I don't even want to take my kids with me. Fuck them. No, I'm kidding. No, no. I want them to have a stable life too, though. I want them to know. You. I want them to know what it's like to stay at a certain place, develop relationships, and have friends, have lifelong friends.
Because that's so important. Okay, so I think you know this. I was born in Nigeria, moved here when I was 12.
Yeah.
And the reason I kept asking about, are you afraid of blah, blah, blah? Growing up, my parents moved to the States first before me and my sister came here. So we were raised by aunts, grandparents. My grandma was balling, like rich, rich, rich. So I never felt broke growing up. I was like, this is life. It's good. Yeah. And then I moved to the States and I was like, oh, no, y'all ain't rich. And so it's like 1-bedroom apartment with my mom and my sister, you know? And so I think seeing both sides of it has given me this weird, maybe not weird, but it's given me this different view where I feel like I've lived in both situations and I don't feel afraid of losing. I don't know. Maybe I don't have that much to lose too, but it's like, I'm like, I know I'll be fine in both situations.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm like, huh.
I guess like for me, it's not so much a matter of feeling fine or okay. I think it's just a matter of I know what life is like when you don't have money and how much stress it brings. Mm-hmm. That is something that is just a fact of life.
Especially when you have to take care of other people too, or worry about other people.
My dad and my mom fought so much when their business wasn't doing well. And I could see that now as a young person. I mean, as an older person, but as a young person, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see why they would fight over the dumbest shit. It's because they're always afraid that, number one, are we going to pay our bills on time? Is our house going to be taken away? Can we pay these credit card bills? Can we keep the lights on at the house, at the store? Can my kids go on these field trips? Can they do all this stuff? So, and I see it in my own life too. Like when I was kind of volatile in my career and I didn't know where to go, Mariel and I got into a lot of fights. And it was because I was unstable. I was so emotionally unstable. And anything that she would do, it wasn't a big deal, but I would get upset. And that actually allowed me to empathize with my parents a little more. It's like, now I know why they would fight so much when we were younger. And then when we started going into like lower middle class, which isn't that great itself, it's like, oh, they fight a little less because now they're not worried about, you know, are my two kids going to have a meal the next day? So that's the fear that I have, is like the stress that money brings. And even friends now who decide to go into a career, they make their last minute career choices or career flips. And they're like, yeah, I appreciate the art and it's great. I'm doing what I love. But then they figure out like, oh, I can't do a lot of the things I want because I don't have money. It's like, that's what money does for you. It actually gives you freedom. It gives you options. It gives you choices. And that's the thing that I'm afraid is going to be taken away. Now, mind you, I don't really live that lavishly, but I do understand like the power that money has. Right?
Yeah. What is it? What did Ariana Grande say? In 7 Rings?
Ariana Grande?
Yeah, she said, those people who say money can't solve problems don't have enough money.
That's very true,
like
though. That is true. Yo, man, some people say that shit, though, and it fucking makes me mad. It's like, you rich bitch. You shut the fuck up. They're like,
I'm rich, bitch.
Yeah, it's like money. Everybody who has money says the same shit. They go, money doesn't buy you happiness. It makes you a little happier, though.
Yeah.
It gives you, like, I understand what people mean. Like, money is not the physical things, right?
And it's true, but it's...
They're
coming from a point of privilege.
I want to hear that from a fucking North Korean military survivor. I want this guy to be like, money doesn't make you happy at all. Or I want him to say that with a gun to the back of his head. But I don't want to hear that shit from somebody who has money and things are popping. It's like, it's easy for you to say that because shit's popping off for you, man. Like things are really, really good for you. That's why I also want people to be careful too. Sometimes when I hear like these YouTubers, like they come on and they're trying to give this sage ass wisdom advice about money and being happy. It's like, you're a millionaire. People, you can't relate to these people. It's like you were a millionaire when you were 14 years old and you want to teach people how to deal with their anxiety and their problems. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like sit down. Like you don't know shit.
I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Because I give you $50 million right now.
I'll be the happiest person on earth. And,
you will be.
And everybody's getting a car. I'll be like a fucking
okay,
Oprah. I'll be like Oprah and I'll pay the taxes on the fucking car too.
She pays taxes on the cars? I didn't know that.
She doesn't.
Oh.
So when you get the car, you have to pay the taxes on it though.
It's like when they give you a house and then...
Exactly. So you still got to pay the taxes on it.
Okay, but this is the thing. So all your problems right now gone, right? Or some of... Oh, okay. Problems gone. In 2 years, you're still going to have problems.
Oh, I won't. You know why?
Why?
Because money fixes all of that shit. I'll tell you that right now. The funny thing is, I know that I will never be alive long enough to do everything that I want to do. So if I do have that financial freedom, like number one, I'll be helping out a shit ton of people. Yeah. That's the first thing right off the bat. I joke about a lot of things, but I because I know how much money can help people, I already know how much great I want to do with it, right? Yeah. Whether it's like charity work or something else, but I'll definitely devote my life to helping other people, because if I received like this odd amount of money for no fucking reason to no work of my own, I'm definitely going to pay that forward. I don't need fucking $500 million to live, but I know other people who do need that money. So like definitely I'd probably do that Bill Gates thing where he's going to give up all of his wealth by the time he dies.
And the thing is, his kids are fine. Look at the life they've been living, the schooling they've got. Like they're chilling. They don't need a freaking fortune.
I heard that when somebody calculated it out, but they were like, somebody said that, oh, like Bill Gates is gonna snub his kid because he's only giving them 1%. And I'm like, do you know what 1% of $1 gajillion is?
God, $1 gajillion.
Yeah, it's still like I forgot what the sum of money was. I mean, obscene. I'm just gonna say an obscene amount, but it was like, I don't know. He was gonna give his kid like 150 million. I'm
so sad. My father.
Yeah, it was like 1% or like 0.5%. So I don't think people realize how wealthy Bill Gates is, but he's gonna give up a majority of his wealth. But after he passes, I think his kids are gonna get 1%, which is like $1 gajillion.
They're chilling.
So they're pretty much chilling.
Yeah, if I won the lottery, I'm not telling anybody.
Oh, I tell people.
I'm not telling anybody.
I tell people I hate.
They're going to come. No, because then everybody's going to start asking you.
But I have bodyguards because I'm rich. I would have them.
David.
I would have them murdered in a second.
Whoa.
This is what else I would do with my money.
That escalated really quickly.
But I hate these people. They don't need to be alive.
I know, but still, everybody's, I can imagine people I haven't talked to in years. They're like, hey. I'm like, no, I don't want anybody to know.
That wouldn't even stress me out, though. Like, if people I haven't talked to in years, like, yo, man, I'm going through financial problems. It's like, I heard. That sucks.
No,
you should have been a lot more responsible with your money.
It'll stress me out. I'm thinking about, like, family members who I haven't spoken to in forever. You know what? Maybe it wouldn't. It would stress me out, but then I'll be like...
Oh, I would love to tell them to fuck themselves. Like, I would love that shit. I would love for people to come out the woodwork and be like, you know what? Hey, David, like, remember when I spotted you that 5? That's cool. Let me give you that 5 back, dog. And I'll give it
interest.
To you. Yeah, with interest. I'll give it to you in pennies, homie. Don't even worry about that shit. Like, I love that because there are people I know who I'm going to give the money to. And then everybody else is like, I'm going to give it to charity because these people are way worse off than you are. So you have your problems. I get it. But if we don't have a relationship like that, you're not getting any of this fucking money. I'm going to give it to other people who I don't have a relationship, who aren't asking, who need it
but
more
who
than
actually
you.
need it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with that shit. That's like back in the day when people told me, like, because I always drove an SUV, and they said, don't have an SUV because everybody's going to ask you to move things. I was like, you're right. But I can also just say, fuck no. And I never had a problem with that shit.
No.
Yeah, it's like, hey, man, I got to move stuff this weekend. That's cool. Hey, let me give you the number to U-Haul, bro. They got trucks. Like, the fuck?
I need to be more like you. I think the older I'm getting, the more I am. It's like...
Oh, it gets easier. It's so easy to say no now because I don't care. Because I know, like, the important people in my life. It's like even now when I have this wedding coming up, right? And there are people who assume that they're coming to my wedding.
Okay. You said this wedding.
Yeah, this wedding that's coming up. It's my wedding. It's so funny when people assume that they're coming to my wedding. It's the most hilarious fucking thing. They go like, yo, man, I can't wait for your wedding. I was like, I know those pictures are going to be dope when you see it, man. Like, what the fuck?
Do you address it in the moment right there?
Yeah, just like that. Because
I respect that.
Well, because that's how I joke either way. So they kind of get it. But it's weird that it's like, why am I going to pay like $100-something for your fucking meal? I don't even know you like that, bro. And even if we're like decent friends don't get invited to the wedding,
your wedding.
Because it costs money. Right? And I hate weddings. I fucking hate weddings.
Are you having a big wedding?
I hate big weddings. I'm not going to have a big. I'm going to have a smallest wedding. I hate getting invited to weddings. I hate dressing up to weddings. I hate all that shit. It's a waste of money to me. And it's a waste of time. Because I can't imagine spending. It's hard for me, just morally speaking, just to spend $50,000 on myself. For what?
It's not just on you though, right? It's like for the families, essentially.
Yeah, fuck them. I love them.
Just elope.
Like, well, my mom suggested that. She goes, why don't you just go to the courthouse, which I would love to do. But I think, I think about both families at this point. But Mariel and I just had a conversation where I told her, she was so stressed out about this whole wedding situation. And I was like, you know what? You just set a number of people that you want at the wedding, right? If it's 50 people, 25 people, 10, you let me know. Yeah. And then I'll work that number out. And if people get hurt that they're not invited to this wedding.
That's a personal problem.
That's a personal, exactly. That's your issue, dude. This is my fucking day. Right? And they're like, well, I'm not going to invite you to my wedding. Thank you.
You already hate them.
I appreciate that. There are people who make it. Have you ever been in that situation where, I don't know, where there's a friend and I guess like, it's like a loose friend. Like you're not even that close to them. And they'll be like talking about their wedding plans. Like, yo, I would have invited you. It's like, I never said I wanted to go, bitch.
I haven't experienced that.
It's happened a couple of times. I'm like, yo, man, like I really would like you to go. I'm like, dog, I don't even want to go. Like
my friend's getting married this year. She's like the first one of our group.
Oh, shit.
April.
See, it's exciting when it's the first one. But after you go to about 30, 40,
I don't have that many friends.
Oh, I got a lot of fucking friends. Apparently, I have a lot of friends. It's
Look
like
at that.
They're like, yo, I would love for you. I got invited.
Do they ask you to give speeches too?
Yes, and I say no. They're fucking dumb. It's like, why would I give us? I barely know you, bitch. And plus, I'm the last.
I know you're a great orator.
Yeah, but you don't want somebody like me to do it unless it's going to be a funny wedding, because there's families there.
True.
Right. And I'll do like a whole stand-up comedy bit and it'll be really funny. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, I've married a lot of my close friends.
You can marry people?
Yeah. I mean,
what do they call it?
You could get it too. You just go online and just fucking order it. It's that simple. You could become an ordained minister online in about 5 seconds. It's like, I think it costs like $5 or some shit. Yeah. So
I want to do this.
You should. Like I think a lot of people, because they're not hyper religious. They don't want the traditional like Christian or Catholic wedding.
Yeah. That
they just need to get ordained. So they need somebody who is ordained to actually sign off on it. You just go online, get your license or whatever in like $5 and in 5 minutes, and then you get it and you're done.
Nice.
It's crazy.
I can see you marrying people. I feel like that'd be so fun.
So I married my really close friends Bart and Gio, Casey and Tiff, and I also married my buddy Tim and Chia. And then I married 3 other people.
Tim and Chia sound like a drink.
Tim and Chia. Yeah, so I married them as well, too. And it was a good experience. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
You enjoy it. I mean, it's pretty fun if you really care about the person.
Yeah.
It's easy because you already have a backstory. So the weird part is when people ask me to marry them and I don't really fucking know them. It's like I don't have any cute stories about you. I want to get to know you to tell these stories. It's like
you do so many things.
I don't know.
You do. I'm thinking about what we were talking about before. And then like with all the businesses, and then you're freaking a minister. What?
Yeah, I was a youth minister for a couple years before I started doing all this stuff. So my dad's a pastor.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then he started up a church in Sacramento. And while he was there, I was a Bible study teacher. And which is so funny that I say it now because nobody would ever believe me. But I was a Bible study teacher then. And then from then on, they kind of lost their youth minister and they couldn't find one. So during that time, I was going to go to seminary school and become an interim. So I was like an interim pastor. So I was in between going to seminary school at the time.
Oh, it's like David in the other world.
Yeah. So I wanted to do it and I did it for about, I think like a year and a half, maybe almost a couple years. And at the end of the day, I found out I fucking hated kids. So
took you that long?
Yeah. So I was like, you know what, kids?
Fuck you.
Fuck you, man. You know what? God loves you, but I barely do. I barely do. Like
I love kids. That's so funny.
There was a few kids that I really liked, but it was just hard dealing with some of these personalities. And I think like the very difficult part about being a religious leader is that a lot of people don't know this, but there's a real, which is so, I think the irony is in there because a lot of, I found out through other pastors that the suicide rate for new ministers is really high because of the stress level, which is so funny because religiously speaking, like suicide is a sin, it's a mortal sin. Like you don't go to heaven if you do that, but it's because of the stress level is so fucking high.
I'm going to sound very naive, but what are they stressed about?
Well, number one, when you're a pastor, you're not just giving sermons, right? So it's like you are also highly involved in the community. Number two, if anything goes wrong in the church, it's your fault. If anything goes right, it's all glory to God. So,
oh shit, you get no credit.
So you're literally a servant of God, and you know that in itself is a very beautiful thing. And I think this is for a lot of youth ministers who are a little more, not just youth ministers, just ministers who are a lot more traditional. There's a lot of other ministries now where you see like these rock star pastors, which is very odd to me, just because some of these rock star pastors, they have 7-figure incomes, which is morally speaking, that doesn't fucking make sense to me because there's people in your congregation that
can't eat,
that are barely getting by,
yeah.
And then you're walking out with the fucking Escalade and shit like that. Like I don't really fucking subscribe to that bullshit. So there's that part of it too, where unless you're in that type of realm where you're doing it for glory to yourself, there's a lot of stress involved in it. And so a lot of like youth ministers, I think they need a lot of therapy. They need a lot of love because they're so used to giving. That's all youth ministers do. They give to their congregation, they give to their flock, their sheep or whatever, and they keep giving. But what do they get to take?
That makes sense. It's true. Who does the pastor go to talk to?
Exactly. Their mentor pastor. Who does that person go to talk to?
God.
Exactly. And then God, you know, you're talking to God and then God's like not saying anything. And it's like, damn, you mad silent right now, bro. You know,
that's funny.
I used to get fucking stressed out. Like I remember just listening to some of the bullshit that some of these youth kids would go through. And it's understandable because they're young, right? But then I have to be built to be dealing with this every day for the rest of my life. And that was the hard part. Like I had to deal with some of these kids who were these rich, spoiled kids talking about their fucking problems about them being addicted to Oxycontin and shit. It's like there was this one kid. The kid is hot trash. He's probably a good adult now, but then just if you just happen to come by this podcast, kid, you were trash then. And if you're still like that now, you're fucking hot trash now. Ooh. God barely loves you.
Ooh.
So
to the jugular.
He was addicted to Oxycontin, which number one is a rich fucking kid's drug, right? He decided to steal from his parents money-wise and stuff just so he could buy more pills, problem. Right? And then he robbed his cousin's house so he could buy some more shit for his drug problems again. And then his parents, because he was going through all these lawyer fees because he was getting into big fucking trouble with all the narcotics and drugs and shit like that, his parents had to hire a bunch of lawyers to keep him out of jail, and his parents were going bankrupt.
Jesus Christ.
For doing and I had to deal with this shit, and he's like, Tom, I got problems. Like, bitch, that's a problem you brought on yourself, yeah. Bitch. Like, don't talk. And I was like the poorest person in that church because I was like the minister, but these was all rich kids. So it's like, I don't give a fuck about your problems.
And everybody's coming to you with their problems.
Yeah. Damn. It's like, I got problems. It's like, you're rich. Like, I don't want to hear this shit.
Money solves everything. Look
right?
at that.
I know everybody has problems. I'm not trying not to be empathetic, but it's like, you know, you're barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah.
You know, it's like these are problems that you brought onto yourself. Nobody told you how to take Oxycontin, you dumb fuck.
Look at what you learn. I didn't know about this.
Oh yeah, I've definitely had this thing where I like to try anything and everything possible.
Try it twice. I had a boss who was like, every time you try something new, try it twice.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I did youth ministry for 2 years. I think that's twice.
Yeah, yeah. Damn, I was a TA for 4th grade.
Oh, how was that?
I loved that job. I was like,
really?
This is what it's like to wake up and enjoy going to work.
You never had like weird situations though,
that job.
Like with kids. I feel like elementary school problems are kind of hard because you're a lot more involved in these kids' lives.
I never had anything that made me feel like, oh shit. I don't know. My class is also amazing, though.
Oh, really?
They were freaking amazing.
So you definitely weren't in the hood.
Maybe
then.
I was spoiled. I was not in the valley.
Some of these kids are fun. You see that video clip of that one kid where
Are they beating up a substitute or something?
No, this kid. They were all doing an activity, and this one little badass kid. It's not funny, but it's funny because I got mad, but I was laughing my ass off.
Enabler.
But he was like, "Fuck you, bitch."
Who?
You don't remember that? Have you seen that shit? It's this little kid, and then she goes, hey, watch your language, right? He goes, fuck you, no.
Whoa. Nah, I didn't have to deal with that.
Yeah, so that's the type of shit that I see.
This is something I like about myself, though. I think I'm a very nice person, but I can be very firm and stern. And so, like, I will not take your bullshit. I can be that person. So I think at least my experience with kids, even in high school, I did this thing called, I already forgot what it's called, but every lunch break our senior year, we'd go and teach art to, like, kids. And I remember my partner, she could never get a grip on them. They were always like just being disrespectful. And like the energy I'm going to take into that room is like, I am not here to fucking play games.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, my experience has been good.
Also, you had that fucking...
That African look. You say, excuse me? No, exactly. So
you just trying to handle these motherfucking
I was like,
kids.
no. I did not leave Nigeria for this. So yeah.
Yo, my best friend, he's Rwandan, right? His name is Gabo. His dad would tell me the most mortifying fucking stories about his childhood. Because that's the funny thing. Like when you have a parent who's an immigrant, you're just never allowed to complain because no matter what you go through, they've always went through things way harder. So
I'm rolling my eyes so hard. Only reason why, and I'm not trying to say that Gabo's dad is lying. But these parents are like, I walked 20 miles to carry water. It's like, bro, you went to school in London. Like,
well, that's the fucking funny shit. Like you start to realize like sometimes like I know they probably went through some tough shit, but they're definitely adding a little sauce on that shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like this fool would talk about like, David, I used to get my feet beat every day. I'm like, why would you get your feet beat? Why? Why, right? He was like, they would take me on the floor and they would hit my feet until it bled. And then like you see his mom just rolling her eyes like,
exactly.
Shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
Like he would tell me these like funny ass fucking stories about him. Like that 20-mile walk shit, every parent, every immigrant, no matter if you're African, Korean, it doesn't matter. My dad would talk about, he said that he used to have to like hike up a mountain just to get some water. I'm like there wasn't convenience stores and faucets where you were, bitch. Why do you have to go up this mountain? This non-existent mountain. So
it was a little hill.
He was like, I had to go to a mountain to get a water to fill up the little instant noodle cup just so I could eat every day. It's like,
I want to meet your dad.
Like, he would say the crazy. He's like, I had a donkey. It's like, where's this donkey coming in? I would take a donkey on my back because I felt bad for the donkey. And I'm just like,
this is random. My grandma, this is, actually, I think it's true. I feel like my parents and grandparents, my family's kind of eclectic, like the offbeat Africans. But my grandma said she had a pet goat when she was young. And people in the village are like, you should kill that goat and eat it. And she's like, no, this is my goat.
Just telling these like crazy stories, man. It's like,
oh my gosh, she told me that recently. I was like, you had a goat?
He's like,
she had a goat.
I might believe that shit though.
I actually believe
for sure
that.
They had to go. Well, Gabo told me because I was supposed to go to Rwanda with him, but this is like during the time that I really popped off on YouTube, and so I couldn't.
You said new phone, who this?
Yeah, so I ignored him. I was like, "Fuck you, guy." No, I just couldn't. I had to make a choice. It's like, well, I can go on vacation for 3 weeks, or I could just start hitting these videos. And during this time, like, it's not like life vlogging was popular. It was these comedy videos that were really helping my career. So I had to make a choice and not go. But this fool told me, like, he was like, dude, when I was there, like, they had me eat goat every fucking day. He said he was so sick of fucking goat. And it was to the point, like, he said that he ate some of this goat. And he's like, when he was in the more rural areas, like when they kill a fucking goat for you, it means some shit. Yeah. But then he was like, dog, this goat was so chewy. I had to eat this chewy ass goat, and he couldn't spit it out because he didn't want to be disrespectful. So he had to eat the sorry ass goat. But he said he drank a lot of Fanta and ate a bunch of goat. That's all he did. He said like Fanta is like the shit in Africa. He was like, everybody either drinks Fanta or water.
Or Coke.
Coke or water or some shit like that. He goes, that's really about it. But he said that soda was cheaper out there than it was for water or wherever he was at.
Isn't that so problematic?
Isn't that crazy? It's wild. That Fanta is like the shit.
Cheaper.
or it's like Fanta or beer. I'm sorry, not water, Fanta or beer. So it's like, it's not even water or beer.
That's crazy.
Fanta.
Oh my, that's...
Isn't that fucking wild?
That's so problematic to me.
Yeah, it's even in Korea. I heard, I mean, I haven't been there in a while, but people said like in certain parts, like soju, like the liquor is cheaper than a bottle of water. So like people, isn't that fucking insane?
What company was it? Was it Nestle? I hope I'm not was it libel if I say shit that's not real? I think it was Nestle.
I say libelous shit all the time.
No, but with the whole, my brain is not working. The water. Let's come back to this.
Nestle and water? They own like
Nestle what? Being a fuckboy with the whole Flint thing. There we go.
Oh.
Yeah, so, man, I'm telling this story so badly. But apparently, Flint or Michigan or wherever, the government there has a deal with Nestle. And then Nestle started charging people for water after X amount of time had passed. And it's like, you're not even giving us access to drinkable water and you're charging us for water now?
Is that Flint water thing still an issue right now?
Yeah. I mean, they don't trust the people there, don't trust the government. And why am I supposed to trust you?
How come they don't have water? What's the issue?
It's not that they have water, but the pipes. So they didn't either update the pipes or they didn't take care to filter the water that is going to the people. And so it had really high concentrations of
like contaminants and
whatever.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, you're literally killing your population.
That's crazy because we're the most like, I guess like technologically advanced,
right?
or just we're supposed to be first like the shining light, first world, and we can't even get water to people.
It's ridiculous. And then think about it. It's kind of like Flint, New Orleans, what's in common? Black people. Let's be honest. Because if it was a whole bunch of white people there, you think that would have happened? Like what?
Yo, did you hear about the whole issue with, so Target has this brand called the Honey Pot.
I saw that.
Did you see that?
I didn't read the article. I saw the heading today, but elaborate more on it.
I'm forgetting her name, but actually let me look that up because I want to give her some fucking credit. But Honey Pot is a brand of like feminine care products, right? And it's black owned, specifically black female owned, right? Her name is Beatrice Dixon, which is the most non-black name I've ever heard in my life. That sounds like an old white lady. I was like, what the fuck? Beatrice Dixon. Sounds like a 1920s old white lady. That's fucking crazy. But she started up this feminine care line, right? And it does super well at Target. Like people fucking love it. Rave reviews. But she did a video where she said, let's see, let me look it up. But it was something along the lines, and it was, by the way, number one, it was harmless and it doesn't mean anything. But you know how when you say something, people like to twist it. But she says that, she really appreciated that Target picked up her brand because it's great that they could, like young black women can see that you can have a successful business, right? It's great for young black women to see. And so for some reason, a bunch of white people took that as, oh, I don't want to support this racist product because it's only for black people. It's like, yo, bitch, that's not what she fucking said. Like people,
this is the All Lives Matter crowd.
Probably
it is.
It was so. And, at first, sometimes like media likes to exaggerate things, right? But then people were giving cited examples of these reviews. And apparently like her product originally on Target they fixed the issue now. Like it's all 5 stars now. So before it had 5 stars, but after people were upset about it, they were giving it 1-star reviews saying that
it brought down her average.
Yeah, her comments were super racist, that it was very unnecessary or some shit like that. People were really offended. And then I think it went down like 2 stars or some shit like that. But it was so ridiculous. I'm like, how did you take that as that?
How is that an attack on you?
How is that racist too?
Exactly. Well, okay, that's its own topic.
Yeah.
If you want to unpack what even racism means, but it's like literally saying I want to uplift my community means I'm racist, bruh.
Yeah, because I genuinely feel, let's say if that was like, I don't know, like an Asian or Mexican person and they said that like I create this because I want my kids to know, or like young Asian women to know that you could have a business. I don't think anybody would have been like, yo, this is a racist product because they only want to put it to Asian people. I don't think that would have been the case. I really don't, because that's a very odd takeaway from that statement.
This climate, the political climate, even though it feels like a regression in some ways, has been good because it's kind of just opened the screen on everybody that you think was, we're in this like kumbaya post-Obama like society. It's like, no, the fact that that's happening in this day and age, like it's like what? But I love that the end to that story, the article I saw at least was that her sales went
it went
the roof.
all the way up.
Yeah.
Because it was a few, I think because what happens is there's like a few annoying, loud people don't represent a majority of the community, right? Because, you know, if people have like a certain, I feel like what happened is that they bought this product and they didn't know that a black woman was running the company.
But that's so, how is it that you find out and you are so heated by that?
It's like, I refuse. They just took the tampon right out their pussy.
Right?
And they threw that shit out.
Graphic.
Just started swinging that shit around and threw it out a fucking window. I don't give a fuck.
What's her name? Beatrice Dixon.
That's probably why they thought she was white.
That's why they thought. That's so true.
I knew it. It's because of her name. They thought she was. I just fucking unpacked the mystery right now.
Oh my God. You should be a detective.
I should, dude.
This is like your Blue's Clues couch.
They heard the name Beatrice Dixon and they were like, she is an old white racist lady and I support her.
There we go.
They thought she was going to wear a t-shirt with the Confederate flag on.
That's exactly it.
It was a weird move though for those few people that said that it was racist. That's a very weird thing to say.
I don't even understand it. Like, I'm like, where are you coming from?
I mean,
part of me wants to interview them.
Yeah, like sit them down. It's like, well, why do you think it's racist? It's because I guess what from what I read from the article and also what I'm assuming is that when they heard that, what they heard is this product is only for black women, and that's nowhere near what she was saying, which is such an odd thing. Race is like the hottest topic right now, especially over on Twitter, and it's weird because I see it go to like the extremes now. And also too, like the most extreme people are the most vocal.
That's the thing, and then everybody hears them the most. Exactly.
So it kind of takes things in a weird way too. And I remember even for you when we had this conversation back in the day, like you were telling me like growing up, because you know you came here when you were 12 from Nigeria, like it was either your parents or you had a hard understanding of like black plight like in the States, because it wasn't something that you were a part of.
Remember this?
I remember conversations, dude. People don't know, dude. I listen, dude. That's my shit.
But yeah, that was me. That was definitely on me.
Yeah.
It's because I mean, so you come from this place where everybody looks like you, right? Mm-hmm. And even though everybody looks like you, white supremacy is still a thing because of how pervasive American media is. So even though you're living in a place where everybody looks like me, there's still that, my hair is not straight. Ooh, my hair's not flowing. There's, because you see these posters of beauty. That's why skin bleaching is still an issue in certain African countries.
I heard about that shit in what's it called, like Jamaica or some shit like that.
It's still a thing. And it's like, how is it still a thing where everybody's black? Because everybody's seeing the media, and we hold Americans, let me rephrase. We hold white Americans up to this pedestal. Anyways, so I came here and that was just cranked up times 2 because one, I'm trying to understand what black people are going through. I wasn't even trying to understand. I'm 12, let's be honest. I'm like, la-di-da. But then you realize that I live in a country where black people have been subjugated, and I'm coming fresh. So now I have to deal with the repercussions of this when I haven't grown up with it. So it was traumatic. I will say traumatic. Having to understand like, oh shit, I fall into this. I'm not just like innocent, come from, my life or whatever.
It's because like, even though you're Nigerian, that's not what the rest of the world sees you as. Exactly. They just see you as black girl.
Exactly, I'm black.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. I think it's getting better now, especially as new generations come up, but there has historically been a distinction that Africans make between themselves and black Americans.
Oh, I saw that shit so much. I had explained that shit to Mariel because she didn't understand. I was like, I forgot what it was, what we were watching, what we were listening to, but she didn't understand like the conversation or the nuance between it. And I was like, oh, you don't know that like traditional African people, they don't see themselves as black Americans. They're not black Americans.
Yeah.
They are African. And arguably so, I've heard some of the most racist shit from African people.
As have I.
You know what I mean? And how they talk about like black Americans.
As have I.
Every single like racist shit that you hear like a white person say, I've heard like an African person say it about black people, saying that they're lazy, they don't work hard, and all that stuff.
As have I. And this is a thing. So you think about the person who thinks this way, yeah? You're like, I'm an African man, blah, blah, blah. I'm different. Once you step out on the street, you are a black man in America.
Yeah.
Full stop. You will get shot. Sorry, maybe that's too heated. But the police is going to look at you the same way. You're walking in the shop, they're going to look at you the same way. They don't know that you're African. You're a black presenting man. The end of story. So I think and I hope it's getting better that as these new generations come up, there's more of a marriage between these two communities. And I think it's been for too long, it's been disjointed. And that's why
it's hard to see that marriage just because, like, and this is my opinion on it, because I think people don't want to also like give up their culture just because somebody says you are this because you live here.
You don't have to give up your culture though. And even if keep your culture, but why are you looking down on the others?
Yeah, I think the looking down part is the part that we could get rid of, but I think it's hard because they understand that this is how it is in the States, and they still want to have their leg up. They still want to keep a piece of themselves, right? But it's hard to keep a piece of yourself when people keep stripping it away from you. No matter how quote unquote African you are or how Asian you are, people still want to strip that and take that away from you. So what that happens what I see from that is that it just, the only way that they can make a distinction for themselves is for them to just lash out. It's like,
be so aggro about it, right?
Yeah, because it's like they're just so upset, you know? So it just kind of sucks too. It's just like, even if, like you said, like when you walk out in the street, what people see, they don't see African male, they see black male.
Yeah.
So it's like you're still going to go through the same plights. It's just a matter of, are you going to be human enough to empathize with that situation? Because when you come into this country, or just like you go into any country, you have to understand that there are a set of rules and history that came here before you stepped in.
Yep.
Yep.
And I understand it from both sides. I've had my own share of problematic thinking for sure. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, this is the thing. You come here, at least as an immigrant, that's all I can speak to. And it's like, I still think there's so much opportunity in this fucking country. There's so much opportunity. It is not perfect at all, but there is so much opportunity. And I get it. You come here and you see what people can do, what you can achieve. And even though the white picket fence thing might be a false fallacy, but still, there's possibility here. And then when you feel like there are homeborn people who aren't taking advantage of that, I can see it being like, why are you not excelling when you have all these available to you? But then you have to take into consideration you have been born and you've been raised in a country that either has not made those accessible to you, or you may just not even have known about those things because of the situation you're born into.
You know what's interesting? Just because I know, just from my personal experience, there's so many like parallels to like African like culture and Asian culture in terms of like academia. Like so many, I know like African parents really push their kids to be a nurse or be in the medical field just like Asian kids. It's kind of crazy like how many like African nurses there are. Like
I saw that in New York.
There's a lot.
Not here.
Yeah, there's a lot though. Like they push him into like the medical field. I was like, oh shit, that's the most Asian thing I've ever heard in my life. Also, like the fucking immigrant struggle stories. It's like the same shit. The same way you beat your kids is the same way Asian people beat their kids too. It kind of runs parallels.
Yeah. I remember the last time my mom hit me. I didn't talk to her. I said, I'm done. Not talking to you. How'd
that work out for you?
It worked out great.
Oh, really?
No, because I remember I was like, I'm too old for this. I was like 14. I'm too old for this.
14 was the last time you were hit? The last time I was hit was last year. Like, I still get my ass beat. That's fucking crazy.
No, but our parents, this is the thing. Remember I said earlier, they're kind of like eclectic Africans. Mm-hmm. She really didn't beat us that often. And I think that's part of what it was. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And also, my parents came to the States before I did. So I was raised for a good chunk of my life by aunts, grandparents, blah, blah, blah. So I come and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You're going to hit me? What?
Yeah.
Anyways, story time. My sister had a cat when she was young, and this cat got stuck in a tree. This is in Lagos. And my parents called the fire department. And it's like, you don't do that in Nigeria. Like, they came and they're like, are you joking? You called us for a cat? And they left. Yeah. So using that as an example of showing them just kind of like offbeat, like like hipster Africans.
What did your parents do?
They were journalists, so they worked for Vanguard, and they met.
What the fuck?
My dad was a sports journalist. He traveled with the Super Eagles, those are the Nigerian soccer team. And then my mom, she had a column called the Lipstick Column, and she got to just write about whatever, I guess. And so they met.
So your parents were already kind of artsy, so it only makes sense that transferred over to you.
I guess I have my blog, so that makes me feel like, oh, maybe I
actually
got
saw your blog
them.
before you came on. You're actually pretty good at that shit.
Thanks.
The writing is great. Your photos are great too.
Thanks.
Who taking your photos?
My sister.
Oh,
Google Pixel. She has a Google Pixel.
That's dope. All those photos on a Google Pixel.
Google Pixel, man.
They look great.
Thanks.
That looks fucking crazy. Do you live with your sister?
I do.
Oh shit.
It's really nice. I've been spoiled. I don't have a real roommate. Oh, I guess she's a roommate, but it's family, you know.
Yeah.
She cooks and she cooks for the house. It's not like this is my food. This is your food.
Like, so it's like a family type of situation.
It's so nice.
That's crazy.
It's so nice.
What does your sister do?
She works. Oh God, she's told me so many times. I keep forgetting. She does digital marketing for NBC.
Oh shit! Oh, so she's kind of in the I guess like TV world if it's NBC.
I guess she gives me free movie tickets. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm so blessed, so blessed. So I can't even complain. I can complain, but I'm not going to.
Where are your parents at?
My mom's here. My dad's on the East Coast.
Oh shit! What part of the East Coast?
Baltimore.
Baltimore? I've only been there once. Not much to do out there. I think when you live like in California and
you get
LA,
spoiled.
dude, man, I'm telling you, like I was in so you know I travel when I do like these college speaking engagements, and I get to travel to all these different cities, and every time I go to a different city, I'm like, I fucking love California, man. Like,
do you think you'll always live here?
I will die here.
Ooh.
I will die here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I like visiting places, right? But I'm not trying to live anywhere else, man. Like when I was in New York and I felt that wind slice through my body like a hot knife through butter. I was like,
that was a beautiful metaphor.
Yo, when we were in fucking in Salt Lake City for
blizzard.
Through the blizzard shit. It was a blizzard, bitch. What are you talking about? It was blizzarding.
You are so dramatic.
How much you want to bet it was blizzarding?
You know what? Let's look it up.
That was definitively what they said.
So
they said it was a blizzard.
It was not that
bad.
It
was a blizzard.
Were you dressed inappropriately?
I was 300 pounds. Nothing was getting through me. You understand me? That's the biggest difference I started to understand is that when I was fat, nothing would affect me. Yo, Curtis looked at me like I was insane because I just had a puff jacket and then like a long sleeve t-shirt. He was like, yo, you're not fucking cold? He was like, I'm freezing right now. I was like, aren't you from New York? He was like, nah, but it's a blizzard. I don't
remember it being this bad.
That's because you were all hopped up on the fucking women's parade and shit. You were just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
I swear I don't remember it being this bad.
It was so fucking. I almost couldn't get an Uber back because there was no Ubers that were coming to pick us up.
Don't remind me about Ubers.
Yeah, it was snowing so hard there. It was actually very odd how hard it was snowing. But I from our Airbnb we almost couldn't even make it back, get to Sundance because it was snowing so hard.
Damn.
Yeah, you don't remember any of the shit?
I'm telling you, it was a beautiful, magical snow globe experience for me.
You are ridiculous, dude. There was a fucking reindeer that was dead on the road. You didn't see that shit?
A what?
I'm fucking kidding with you right now.
Did you see me? I said pause.
It was really fucking cold. Oh shit! How much we been on this, dude? We've been in this for an hour. That's it right there. That's the whole damn podcast.
What? I like talking to you. Don't end it.
We're still gonna kick it after this.
Oh, yeah, we have snacks.
Yeah, I told you though. You were so nervous about this podcast.
I was. Okay, I'm gonna listen to it obviously, but I hate hearing my voice sometimes. It's just like, oh God. And I'm doing a voiceover gig. How can you hate hearing your voice?
Well, you also had that fucking one Instagram post where you were
wait, what? What?
Where you had too much bass in your voice?
Oh my God, yes. That was my sister helping me do a self-tape.
So fucking funny.
She's such an asshole.
Yeah.
I was like, why are you going to give me directions? You do digital marketing for NBC.
Shut the fuck up and let me. We were just talking about that. See, it's about is you respect them, but you don't respect them that much.
I don't respect you that much.
For you to give me advice about my self-tape audition.
How I'm slating. I wasn't even, it was a slate. Yeah. I was saying my name. Like, what?
It's like, what's with all the bass in your voice?
Right? I said,
cool. Well, where can they find you?
On Instagram and my blog. I do dance videos too. So if you want to see me dancing, I know you're only hearing my voice here, but
that's right. You dance. You've been dancing a lot lately.
I have. It's
What's up with that?
So it's my little creative outlet. Not little. Let me not minimize it. And so my goal this year is to do 6 dance videos. Like it's one thing that genuinely brings me joy. And I was like, let me do this to make myself happy. And I can look at it in 20 years and be like, look how adorable I was. So
that's the only reason why I'm
That's
trying to get
awesome.
buff, just so I can show my kids. Like before you were born, Daddy used to look
that
like
was
this,
hot
bitch.
stuff. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, I should say my handle?
say your handle.
So it's Omono Talks. And then my blog is omonotalks.com. My name is, oh, you're going to write my name. I don't have to spell it.
You should spell it.
Omono talks.com. Sidebar, there's a river in Japan with my name. Sometimes when I'm on the phone with people, they think I'm Japanese and then they see me and then they get disappointed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's a called Omono.
Is that how you say it? I don't know how to
If it's
say
in
it.
Japanese, be Omono.
I was like,
Oh,
super cute.
I guess you're Japanese as well.
I'm not Japanese.
Well, you should start up your own feminine Caroline, right?
What would I call it? No,
It would be-
who's going to buy it?
Exactly. And they would be
Japanese
upset because you're not Japanese. They're like, what the fuck is this shit? She's a fucking African woman? Fuck this. I hate this. It's racist.
Racism.
Yeah.
And this racism. Boom.
Well, guys, you guys can catch us on every single audio platform out there. We're talking about iTunes. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a bunch of comments below. Start up a discussion, chat it up, and then we'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Bye.